it's Katie. One thing and one takeaway that I got away from Theology of Race and Culture this semester was going over the definition of racism, the discrimination of another group based solely on superficial characteristics and beliefs that one race is superior to another. And then the second definition that we wrote down was a system where the minority group loses and the dominant group benefits. So taking that into consideration, just some things from my notes that I learned this semester was just about how it's the powerful versus the powerless, and this like societal way that we define what racism is, and the way that we see this played through into our culture today is just the powerful versus the powerless, the elite versus the slaves, and through that is the survival of the fittest. Then we talked about something that I also found really interesting this semester that I took away from was about cultural relativism. We talked about it in cultural anthropology in 290 with Dr. Chang, and we mentioned it again in this class, and ethnocentrism. So cultural relativism is the view that cultural practice and beliefs are best understood in relation to their entire context. And then ethnocentrism, seeing our own culture at the center and other cultures as inferior. I think that this cultural relativism and ethnocentrism is something that in this class it's really prominent to know about in every context that we are learning about something. So then it's like, okay, so let's take a step back. Do we see any cultural relativism in this, or ethnocentrism in this? And what are ways that we see that, and let's like pick through that, and like let's like walk through everything that we're thinking, and make sure that it's intentional and biblical, and just take everything back to scripture, instead of just like, okay, well, it can be this, it can be this, it can be this, but let's take a second and let's say, like, there's so many different things in other places of the world, and even in our own country today in the United States, that just everything is different. I'm from the Midwest. I've never been to the South until like I got here at Liberty University, and there's just a lot of things different here, even on like in Virginia, which is more of like north than the South, that I've just have noticed that are like different things than we do in Colorado. And so there are some like cultural things like I've had to learn just in my time that I've spent here. But overall, ethnocentrism and the cultural relativism were two of the biggest points that I was able to take away from this class, that I can point towards in conversations that I have with other people, in conversations about race and culture. I think that it's really important to know that and to have those contexts recognized and thoughtfully thought through. So thank you so much. Have a good one.